Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, the radio show. Let's take a deep dive into Wazoo football. Washington State joining us right now. Edge rusher Ron Stone Jr. Joining us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Ron, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Good. How's this Pac-12 Media Day treating you?
It's exciting. You get to talk to a lot of the great athletes at different universities and see what they're thinking about, how they've been, and just kind of hear from them a little bit. And then you get to kind of talk about yourselves a little bit and all the hard work that your team has done and kind of promote yourself.
What do you guys share as student athletes?
All of them?
Yeah, I mean,
a common goal.
When you get around other highly successful, motivated leaders.
We all share, just either a common goal, when it comes to the pack specifically to be a champion, and then when you look at us as a whole, just individually, it's drive, it's motivation, it's the ability to work hard and be determined.
Okay. Can I ask you a couple clown questions?
If you'd like.
Do you mind? Because
you're
going up and down Radio Row. What's it like when you walk through here and you get, somebody like me, like I want to be known as a guy who did the most work prepping,
right?
Coming into the show, because again, if I wasn't prep, coaches would probably have me running laps here. But when you walk through and they're asking all these questions, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of funny sometimes, because you know what questions you're going to get sometimes, and you go through some of the interviews and you're like, okay, I just got this one, but how do I make it a little different to give them their own unique experience, and it's not just one cut dry copy of the same thing, so I try to do my best to stay on brand with what I believe and what I'm saying, but then I also try not to sway but I also try to give a unique answer every time.
What's the oddest question you've gotten so far?
The hardest?
Oddest. Different, crazy, clown question.
Probably, what was the weirdest one I got? Probably weirdest one I've got so far was the superpowers, not superpower. Oh, my weird fear or something. It was something along those lines.
What's your phobia?
My unrational fear.
What is your unrational fear?
I said being stuck in a submarine.
I don't think you're going to be in a submarine anytime soon, unless you're going to Finding Nemo or
exactly.
something.
That's why it's unrational. The likelihood of it happening is very low, but the likelihood of me getting stuck in it is also very low. But
if you're going to have an irrational fear, that's a good one to have.
Exactly.
It's not like being afraid of heights.
No, I love heights.
I'm afraid of heights.
At the amusement parks where they have the one that goes super high up and then just drops down. That's my favorite one.
Oh no, I'm afraid of heights. I'm definitely afraid of heights. We're talking with Ron Stone Jr. Washington State last year 6-3, 7-6 overall. Beat the Arizona Wildcats 44-18. You guys get to come to Tucson November 19th.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be too cold. It'll be a little bit of break from up in the Palouse. Let's talk about the season last year. How do I best describe this? It was uncharted territory for everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
With the coaching changes and the challenges you had, what did you learn?
Right. I think it's just one of the biggest things you got to realize as a player and as a coach or anyone that, was a part of that was the team is bigger than everything.
Okay.
It's bigger than any one coach. It's bigger than any one player. The team supersedes all. And I think that's a good representation that we could have just thrown the towel in and went out and said, hey, we have this excuse. We're going to do this the rest of the season. But we didn't, and I think we showed resiliency, and we competed in every game to the best of our abilities. And I think it just kind of shows to the culture in the locker room, and it's like it's our team. It's what we want to do, and it's important to us.
Walk me through that then. With all the turmoil and you're not sure what's going on, you got people like me in the media and everybody's talking and barking about you guys. How did you, as a leader, step up to help? Okay, let's say you're in that submarine, right?
Right.
If there's one point everybody's going to break down, and you have to have that guy next to you pick you up.
Right.
I bet it was kind of like that for you guys.
Right. I mean, absolutely. We all had the ability to give up, and I think it's the understanding that it's like, hey, you're on this submarine for a reason. I'm on this submarine for a reason. Let's make sure we don't just, go down and sink in vain. And it's really important that we stay focused on what the original goal is. Because life is all about adversity. You're gonna have adversity in anything you do, regardless of if it's easy, hard. And I think that's important to where you keep your mind focused on your goal and you stay focused on your plan. And our plan was to go out there and compete in everything we do and win games. And so that's where we didn't lose faith in.
Tell me about Washington State football. Tell me about the fans. You're a fan favorite. People up there love you, right? You're all Pac-10 preseason first team. You're a leader. I went by and looked on social media and messaged. People love you. Tell me about this love affair between the Cougar fans and this football team.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest stories I know. That's one of the main reasons I came to the school and I committed here. It was that unique relationship to the school and the universe, to the city and to the school and to the Cougar Brand. And I think it's so unique, the love and support that the fans have for this program and this school, and the university itself. Like you walk through an airport wearing any type of Washington State gear, someone's going to say, "Go Cougs" to you. If there's a Coug around, they're going to say it, because that's the type of relationship we have. And this community is such a family where it's like, hey, like you're a Coug, I'm a Coug.
Let's be friends.
Yeah, let's be friends. The amount of times I've been at airports and like sat in restaurants waiting for my flight, like my layover or whatever, and I'll be wearing Coug stuff. Someone comes up, we end up talking for the entirety of my layover, and just that kind of connection to where it's like once you realize you're a Coug, you're a part of something so much greater than just yourself.
Where'd you grow up?
San Jose, California.
Okay. San Jose is a lot different.
Absolutely.
I'm from Salinas, so
okay.
it's a little bit
way
different.
Warmer over there too.
It's a little bit different than living up in the Palouse, right? Why do you guys have such a home field advantage?
Just again, that's that special bond that we share. It's like people who are Cougs want to be Cougs. We love the Cougs. We love Pullman, and that's why. Like in those tough games, our fans are going to give us their all, and we're going to give them our all. And I think that's the special relationship we have, where it's, like win or lose, we're still a Coug. And
right.
that's the important part, and that's bigger than everything.
What's the defense going to be like this year?
It's going to be, it's going to be an experienced defense. I think it's, in my opinion.
You're the leader.
Yeah, it's an experienced defense. We have a lot of experience just throughout the entirety of the defense. A lot of guys have played a lot of football, and I think that's what we're going to lean on each other. It's a hard-working defense, and it's guys. We're filled with playmakers, guys that any one of us could be the name called to make a play, and I believe that we have the ability to make those plays.
We're talking right now with Ron Stone Jr. He's all Pac-12 preseason first team, along with
Dean Janikowski.
Dean Janikowski is my son's best friend, so I watched a lot of Wazoo football. When I got done doing the post-game shows for Arizona, I tape and watch you guys the next day. Exciting team. We have a little bit of a connection down in Tucson with Delora coming down to play for us. I'm excited about watching him. I'm excited about watching your team. This is going to be just a fun year overall, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited for the year. I'm not looking at any game specifically saying, "Oh, this is the one we need," this and that. Because I'm gonna take every game for granted. I can't take any game for granted.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, exactly. So we got to start. We start with week 1, and once the time of that game gets there, then that game will get there, and I'm sure that'll be a great opportunity. But I can't get too far ahead of myself.
Again, I'm not going to ask you about Jaden because again he's moved on, and you've got an exciting quarterback in Cam. But I do want to bring up something. The Apple Cup last year.
Right. How
cool was that?
It was one of the most. I don't think many people can have a story like that in their lifetime. It was so just exciting, fun, all the great words to describe it. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Just being able to go out on the road, compete, and dominate in that fashion, and then to have our fans storm an opposing team's field was just unreal. And we had all the amount of crimson on that purple field was.
Dude, you own that house. That's not your house. You walked into someone else's house and took it over.
Absolutely. It was just so. That game means so much to the state of Washington and to Cougs themselves. So it was really exciting to be able to bring that trophy back home where it belongs.
But I thought it was just even more intense for everything that Coug fans had been through, everything the team had been through.
Right.
And then rallying around Coach Dickert.
Right.
And then watching that. And then listen, this is why I was like, hey, listen, I'm a big Delora fan. When he took that flag and he put it right
Absolutely.
there in the middle.
You know.
That was something that people dream of.
Yeah.
To be able to be there on someone else's house and have them all run on the field is something incredible.
Yeah, it's you look back at all the clips and they're like, oh, he's gonna plant it, and you watch all the highlights from it because it's you lived it and then you wanted to kind of see how it played out too. You want to get both angles, but it was everyone's trying to get their hands on the trophy. It's getting passed around from player to player. There's apples around. It was fantastic.
And again, to do that at Seattle with all your fans there, it was something that I don't really remember watching somebody else own someone else's house like that in a long time in college football.
So it was a great experience, and now we have to make sure we do our job to make sure that experience keeps happening for us.
Well, I worked with Joe Madden, who was the manager of the Cubs, and he has a saying. I'm going to butcher it, but it's from Walt Emerson. Said, "A mind once expanded will never return back to its original form." So once you taste what it's like to drink out of that apple cup, will anything else ever satisfy you other than bringing home another apple cup?
Yeah, it's something that's super important. So we're going to do our best to defend that apple cup, keep it where it belongs, and continue to, have the apples when we got the apples, and to make Cougs proud.
What's the off season been like? Because I don't know, you're probably bored. There's no controversy. There's nothing for them to talk about in sports radio or write about in the paper or complain about in social media. Everything's kind of lining up.
If the media's not talking, that means everything's going smoothly. It seems, So off season was great. I think we got better in the off season. With a couple of additions from transfers and then younger guys stepping up and older guys leading younger guys. So I think it was really great to have the winter conditioning, get bigger, get stronger, spring ball, kind of fix those minor details and mistakes that we saw in the fall, and then go to summer and just kind of ramp up and get ready or get our bodies ready for a long season.
Can I ask you about Cameron Ward?
You can.
Tell me about him.
He's our guy. I love Cameron. He's came in and he's made this team his own, and we've all embraced him. He's embraced us, and I'm really looking forward to everything he has for us this season.
All right, so I looked through your schedule. Listen, you guys have some work to do, right?
Right.
You go to Wisconsin. You're
Absolutely.
going to Camp Rendell Stadium. You're going to listen to them jump around.
We all going to be jumping.
Yeah. Colorado State. You know that they're going to bring it against you.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon. You play up in Pullman. Cal. You have USC, Oregon State, Utah. I'm not sleeping on Oregon State. I think Oregon State is a up-and-coming team in our conference. You'll come down to Tucson November 19th, and then you finish up with the Apple Cup.
Right.
This is a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, I think, and this is one of my favorite things about the Pac-12, just the ability for every team to stay competitive within it. There's no one team that is going to win every game. There's no superheroes. It's just a conference of champions. It's a bunch of high-level athletes. Come on.
Bill Walton's loving this conference of champions, right?
It's a conference full of high-level athletes that are going to compete at the highest level, and I think it's just so unique that every game there's no free win on a Saturday. You have to come out and compete every time, or a team's going to take advantage of you.
The one question you're probably getting about NIL,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not going to ask you about that.
Right.
Realignment. You probably got 20 million questions about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave that one off the table right now. But I do want to know, and it feels to me like this conference is starting to rally around each other, right? Like you said it, Conference of Champions. I was here last year. Not one athlete told me Conference of Champions. Like when you go out to play Wisconsin, you're representing all of us out on the West Coast.
Absolutely.
We're all going to be pulling for you to go in there, walk around, and knock the Big Ten down a little bit because it's about us.
Absolutely, and I think that's the importance. It's almost like having a sibling. Like when you two are at it, but once someone else that's not your blood steps in, it's us two against you. And I think that's important to realize. We have respect for all the teams in this conference. And if you're not with us, then that means you're against us. So as soon as it comes time for someone from the Pac to go play someone else, we're going to support the Pac. Rivalries aside, it's our team, it's our Pac, and it's our culture being put on the line against another's.
I love it. Ron Stowe Jr. has been kind enough to join us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Stay healthy. Have a great season. I expect big things from Wazoo.
I appreciate it. Go Cougs. Thank you for having me.
There you go. We'll continue with you. This is